Khalil, we usually run into each other right down the street from our houses in Las Vegas. Now here we are in Melbourne, Australia.
Melbourne.
How amazing is that? Talk about just, first of all, the experience. I mean, you're very young, into your UFC career and really kind of your fighting career, and now to be traveling halfway around the world, what's it like for you?
It's pretty cool, like really cool experience to be here in Melbourne. Never would have imagined being in another country, to fight, and also to fight under the UFC lights. So it's all really new, and I'm just taking it all in and appreciating every moment of it. Yeah.
The travel's no joke, of course. We just made the flight last night. It's a 16-hour flight over here. Talk about kind of how you're feeling. Did you make any adjustments to the way you handled your schedule? Talk about how you approach that.
So the travel here, it was a pretty long flight, but I made sure that I slept on the plane enough to where when I woke up here it was a brand new day, so that I wasn't all crazy time shifted. But so far, I mean, I feel good. I don't feel any jet lag or anything like that. So I'm just thankful for that opportunity too, because everybody's like, oh, it'd be, kind of crazy, but I haven't experienced it yet, so I'm good.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Now, we haven't get to see you in the cage, of course, since the summer. Don't want to spend too much time talking about that, but I don't know, when you look back on it, I mean, what went wrong? What happened?
I think in the fight back home in July, what went wrong was just my lack of knowledge, I think that I was mentally prepared, I was physically prepared to fight that fight. But I just didn't know enough. Even Andrew said in his post-fight thing, he's like, Khalil's really green, and that's real. That's true. Like I've only been fighting for 5 years now. Training for 6 and fighting for 5. So, there's still a lot for me to learn, and I'm eager to learn everything. So I think it's just mostly lack of knowledge in certain areas.
What was your emotion like? I mean, that season was such kind of an up and down emotional roller coaster anyway. What was your emotion like after that?
You know what? I was pretty sad to lose the fight, but I was more sad that I couldn't perform how I wanted to. Being that it was like Tough 23 finale, in my mind, I wanted to make it historical, like I wanted to have like a Forrest Griffin, Stephan Bonner type of thing, like that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to make sure that everybody was entertained. People wanted to see this fight, and the fact that I didn't really get to do much was more of a bummer for me. Losing, I was like, oh, it sucks. It kind of put me in jeopardy in my job. But I think overall, I wanted to do more. So.
Do you put any of that on Andrew? I mean, I don't want to take away from him, but do you put any of that on him for his?
He did what he was supposed to do. That's his style. I don't take anything away from the guy. I know that when he strikes, he's also a good striker. But he played however he wanted to play in order to win the fight. And, had I known a little bit more in that area, then, I would have been able to have my game. But I just accept it, man. It is what it is.
So has it been wrestling every day in the gym? Is that the big focus?
Yeah, wrestling and jiu-jitsu. Just learning as much as I can. That's the thing. That's the name of this game. I can only do what I know. And so I'm eager to learn and new techniques and try them out and grind and have people wrestle me just so I can, get it in and get some new tools.
How much difference does this fight week feel now that it's, the tough experience is behind, and I mean, it's halfway around the world as well, which I guess might change it, but what does this fight week feel like?
I feel good. I just feel, gratitude. I'm just thankful to be here. I'm thankful that UFC gave me another shot, and just taking it all in. Just like the tough experience was my first experience, I kind of hit the reset button and do it all over again. And everything that they offer us here, I just take it in and don't take anything for granted because, I never know when my last day in the UFC could be. So I take it all in. I appreciate every moment of it. It's great. I love what they do for us. I love how they treat us as athletes and fighters. So it's a great week so far, man.
It's interesting because I hear a lot of people talking about the Ultimate Fighter, the future of the Ultimate Fighter, whether it should stick around or not, say, it's played out. But I don't know, like I see you sitting here comfortable in front of the cameras, comfortable in interviews, talking about what you learned, the fact that you admit you were green, but you learned a lot. What do you think? I mean, as a fighter, is there still value to that show?
I believe that there's absolutely value to the Ultimate Fighter, but I also think that it comes down to the person, because when you have these opportunities to be in front of cameras and things like that, I mean, it's our choice who we want to be and who we want to show up as. And for me, I'm like, I'm going to be myself. I'm not going to pretend to be anybody else. And it's helped me because I've gained a lot of friends and fans and people who just appreciate me as a person and not as a fighter. And so for me, it's a big takeaway that I'm able to have, friends and fans that just love me as a person and not just like as some fighter. So I think that it's great for that, but it's really about the person and what they choose to do with that opportunity. So I'm sure there's a lot of other people that can reach out and be good for the show.
Let's talk about this fight. Fighting a newcomer. I gotta think. Did you know much about him when they came with the matchup? Did you research him first, or did you just say whatever, let's do it? How did that process go?
Okay, so we got the fight on about 3 weeks' notice. I knew that they were looking for someone for me to fight, so I wasn't in a training camp, but I wasn't just like messing around back at home. So they came with a name. I did look. I watched maybe a video or two, and like I said, I'm in no position to turn down any fight, so I'm like, hey, I'll take it, whatever you guys got, and I trust that the matchmakers in the UFC and everything know what they're doing. So I sent the name to my coaches, and they've been the ones to mostly watch, film and footage, and I just listen to what I need to do. So, I think that it'll be great. If the UFC is bringing Tyson in, then I believe that, he's a good guy. And so for me, I just get to stay sharp. I get to, be in my best performance and behavior and, just make sure that, that I don't disappoint this time.
I know maybe you didn't watch a lot of them, but from what your coach has said, it does seem to me that stylistically, this might be a more up your alley in terms of a fight. It might be more of an opportunity to really put on a show.
Yeah. I think that, instead of, from what I hear, he's not just like a one-sided guy, So there's opportunities for, for mix-up, for striking, for grappling. Everything, I think is, it seems pretty good. So I'm excited to be able to, to just let my art happen, let my, my creativity happen, and let the fight go wherever instead of like worrying about just one area.
What's the goal here for you? Because you said, the loss didn't bother you as much as the fact that you didn't even get to put on a show, but you're a smart guy. 0-2 isn't a great way to try to build a future. So is the result more important here, or is it an opportunity to really go and put on a show?
It's always, for me, it's always to put on a show. I think that in this sport, I could go out there and win the fight by laying on the guy or by doing something else, but I want to be able to make sure that people remember my last fight. So putting on a show, and if I lose and then I get cut, then it's not the end of the world. But at least if I get an opportunity to put on a good show, I can remember it. The fans can remember it. It can be something that 10 years from now I can watch and say, hey, that was cool. I gave it my best shot. So I think that, just being able to put on a performance is most important for me.
That's cool. I mean, it seems like it seems like there's not pressure on you then. That you feel like you seem, and it doesn't seem like you're faking it. It seems like that's really the way you feel.
I don't want to add any pressure. There's enough pressure having a fight in the UFC and everything else. There's enough pressure already. So to add more pressure for stuff I don't even know. I don't know the outcome of the fight. I don't know how I'm going to do. So I'm not adding anything. I'm just like, I surrender. I trust in my skills. I trust in the work that I put in, and whatever the outcome may be, it's what it's meant to be. That's just my perception, my belief, and that's what I stand by.
That's awesome. Well, in a perfect world, when you kind of close your eyes and think this one through, I mean, how do you see it going down? How do you see yourself winning the fight?
I mean, I definitely feel and envision my hand being raised, and I can feel the emotion of everything that I've overcome in this entire, 3-week camp. Emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically, everything, and I can just feel that all coming up in the moment that I get my hand raised, and it just being an amazing opportunity, an amazing experience, and I can fly back home and see the smiles on my friends and family's faces for the result.